Jason, did you say the name Brent Venables? Is that what I heard? Is he still coaching for Clemson? Is he still around?
Depends
According
on
to
who.
you, he's still doing his job. He's still
It,
doing his job for Clemson.
it depends on who you ask. Some of them had him. Some of them's had him locked into that Oklahoma job for 3 days now. He was supposed to be announced on Monday. He was going to be announced on Tuesday. Then he was going to be announced last night. They were shutting the city down, announcing at the basketball game. Well, Brent Venables is in Florida today recruiting for Clemson. They've already been to IMG visiting Dalen Everett, Keon Sabb, and they've made a stop in Tampa to visit the most recent commitment, Wade Woodaz. Venables has been very busy this week. I'm not saying he's not had any contact with Oklahoma. I'm sure he's at least had some contact. I don't even know that he's formally interviewed for the job yet. And all these OU insiders have him locked into the job. I would be surprised if there's an announcement before the weekend, before the conference championships are played. I just, that Oklahoma's got Bob Stoops in place trying to hold that recruiting class together the best they can. It's not working very well. They've lost, 7 or 8 guys already. But they did that for a reason, so they could at least not have to rush too much in making this decision. Whether Brent Venables leaves or not, I can't answer that. I don't know. If he ever wants to be a head coach, this might be the opportunity. He coached at Oklahoma for a long time. He's got a lot of ties to that area, but he's also got a lot of ties to the Clemson area. And I'm not sure that he really wants to be the guy that has to talk to the media 3, 4, 5 times a week, has to do all the politicking, rubbing shoulders with the boosters and kissing the babies and all that good stuff. What he does now, he gets to coach football, talk to the media once a week, maybe half a dozen times a year. He's moved his entire family here. He moved his wife's parents here within the last year. It's going to take something special to get him out of this job at Clemson, and I'm not saying this Oklahoma job isn't it. If there ever was one, this could be it. But if I had to guess today, I would probably lean towards him staying.
So, Jason, you covered some of the ground that I wanted to hit on, which is, has anybody ever pinned him down to say, do you want to be a head coach? And I mean somebody in the media to where he can explain to where it's been caught on the internet, caught on video, to where he's either said, I want to be a head coach someday if it's the right job, the right situation, or I'm happy being a coordinator for the rest of my life.
He has said on multiple occasions that he is happy at Clemson when asked about, jobs in the past. And I know he kind of flirted a little bit with the Auburn job last year. I don't know how serious the talks ever got, depending on who you listen to. They got real serious. Somebody else might tell you they didn't, but I know he at least was open to the idea. But this is a guy that interviewed for the job Dabo Swinney has. He interviewed twice with Clemson, so he at one time he has wanted to be a head coach. Now, after he got to Clemson, maybe that changed a little bit. He has said, he's been asked that a few times, maybe not directly that way, but he's been asked about jobs and his name linked to jobs. And Venables is very good he's very good at saying a lot without saying much. If you know what I'm trying to say there, he'll talk for a few minutes without saying a whole lot. But he always says, how much he loves it in Clemson. His family's in Clemson. His family loves it in Clemson. He's got a son. He's got one son still on the football team. One son this is his final year on the football team. He's got a couple of young daughters still in high school. I know one of them plays volleyball for the local high school team. So, I mean, they have strong ties to the community. And like I said, he's brought most of his family out here. I just don't know. This one's just hard to read.
Auburn's a top 15 job. Oklahoma is roughly a top 5 job. If he's not going to take one of those 2 jobs, I can't imagine that he wants to be a head coach, number one. Number 2, if I'm Oklahoma, sure, Brent Venables might be the number 1 name on my list. But if I've got to, tear his arm behind his back, twist his arm as much as that, There are other good coaches out there. I would want somebody who wants to be here and that we don't have to twist their arm and hike up the salary just to coerce him to come.
Yeah, and that's another thing. He's making $2.5 million being the defensive coordinator at Clemson. A lot of head coaches don't make that these days, but I mean, he would easily get that much money and a lot more if he was to go to Oklahoma. But I just don't think it's about the money with him. Sure, it's always a little bit about the money, but that's not the top priority. I just think that if he ever does lead to be a head coach, it's gonna have to take what he thinks is the perfect opportunity. And like I said, Oklahoma's recruiting class is in shambles. 6, 7, 8 of those guys have already decommitted. They're fixing to make the jump to the SEC. I mean, that's going to be whoever takes over that job's got some work to do. No doubt about that.